Constructing lists in HTML is a relatively simple process. There are two types of lists that we're going to be utilizing today: unordered lists and ordered lists. So let's start off with unordered lists. Unordered lists, by definition, are lists that are unordered. That is a very big brain to say, but it's true. The order does not matter within the list. Therefore, you're not numerically or making sure that everything is in the right place. So the order doesn't matter. So to make an unordered list, you'll see in a second why I'm calling it an unordered list. You would use the UL. That stands for the UL HTML attribute. That stands for underlined, unordered list. All right. And then we use the LI attribute to list all the elements of our unordered list. So the best example I'm going to do for an unordered list is a grocery store list, or grocery shop list, because the order doesn't matter in my case. I'm just listing things that I want to get from the grocery store. All right. So we got our eggs, we got our milk, and we got our yogurt. We save that, and we get eggs, milk, and yogurt on our HTML web page. And let's say I want to add something to this list. What do you think will happen? Conditioner. Did I spell that correctly? Yes, I did. We get our conditioner on our list. So it adds it based on how we put it in our HTML code. So if eggs is the first thing on our list, eggs is going to show up here. If milk is the second thing, it's going to be the second thing on our list, because that's how we specified it within our code. Now, these bullet points, it does it by these like black discs by default, but you can change that with the style attribute. The style attribute, if you recall, allows us to bring some HTML within our code. So if I recall, it's a list dash style dash type. Now the default style is disks. Therefore, if I update my code or update my web page, it doesn't do anything, because even though I've specified in my code that it's this, it does it by this by default. So had I not put this, it would still be the same thing. But let's say if I want to put a square as my bullet point, well, it allows that because square is part of the code. So save that, and then we get our squares. I hope that's easy to see from where you're watching it, but these are squares. Say that I don't even want bullet points. I don't know why you would. I think that's only for like formatting. So in that case, it would eliminate the bullet points, and you would just have the list in, just the list in itself. You could also do circles, which are basically disks, but without the shading within it. All right, and there you go. We get the bullet points back, and that's going to be our unordered list. So ordered lists, by definition, are lists that are in order. Yes, another big brain statement by me today. The best example I'm going to utilize today is my favorite characters in Avengers Endgame. So the best way of writing that would be, well, not the best way, the only way of doing that will be writing OL. That stands for ordered lists, ordered list. And just like unordered lists, we use the LI attribute to list our items. So I'm going to put Thanos as my favorite character. And then I'm going to put Thor. And then I'm going to put Black Widow. I'm just listing names, don't worry. Except Thanos. Thanos is the best character. Okay. Alright. So by default, it's going to have 1, 2, 3, the numerical values of 1, 2, and 3. And it's going to portray in the order, again, that I put it in my HTML code. So Thanos is first on my ordered list, Thor is second, and Black Widow is third. So it's going to portray it in that list. But this time, we have 1, 2, 3 to correspond with the 1, 2, 3 that's in our code. So much like unordered list, you can edit the bullet points, but in this case you're adding the numerical value, not necessarily the numeric value itself, but rather the font, not the font, how you want to represent the number, or if you want to use a number or a component of the alphabet. So in that case, we would do type, the type attribute. So by default, if we just put 1, right, it's not going to make a difference because by default it's 1, 2, and 3. It's already doing 1, 2. It's already using those numeric values. But say if I want to be fancy, I'll use Roman numerals. Right? In that case, we get 1, 2, 3, but in Roman numerals. That's not our only option, however. We can use lowercase Roman numerals, and it updates that respectively. We can use uppercase letters of the alphabet. I forgot to save. And we can use lowercase letters of the alphabet. We are not confined by just uppercase letters. Alright? So, maybe when you're in school, or if you are in school right now, you have to do outlines for your classes, most notably probably your history class. In that case, wouldn't you have like almost like outlines within outlines, or like indentations that go in depth to why you are in depth into your notes? So for example, in my list, right, I want to go in depth into why Thanos is the best character in Endgame. In that case, I would utilize a nested list. What is a nested list? It's basically a list within a list. Now, I know that sounds a bit messy. It kind of is, to be honest, conceptually. However, when you look at it in the code, it makes all perfect sense. So you're basically just putting a list within a list. So in this case, I am going to just put an ordered list within this list because I want to keep up with the font. So I'm going to be using Roman numerals because I just like how Roman numerals look like in outlines. And then for the type in my ordered list, I'm going to use, instead of the uppercase one, because that would be whack if I had an I here and then an I in the sub, the sub indentation. So in that case, I'm just going to use a lowercase I. There you go. So then we start listing things to why Thanos is the best character in Endgame. He is the cutest person. Is he really a person? He is the cutest. Let's end it there. Right? And he is muscular. Alright, so basically we have our list. This is one list, right? We have our items in the list. And then we have another list. And then within that list, we have our other items. So theoretically, we should have a larger indentation that emphasizes or goes more in depth to why Thanos is the best character in Endgame. So before you make a list, I would recommend actually explaining what the list is about. So I'm going to be like, best characters in Endgame. Alright. And there you go. Thanos. It goes in depth. He is the cutest. He is muscular. And as you can see, when someone is viewing this template, they're going to see that there's an indentation. If the indentation was here, it would be really weird because he's the cutest is not a character in Endgame. But with the indentation, it emphasizes or connects with Thanos and why he is the cutest and what attributes make him the best character in Endgame. Alright, so let me just remove this for now and go back. You are not confined to starting at 1 for your ordered lists. right? So I know it's implied that, like, I know that it seems implied that when you start a list, you want to start at number 1, but maybe you don't want to do that, right? So in that case, you would have to utilize a start attribute. The start attribute allows you to start at any number you want. So in this case, I would start at 420. And then when we start at 420, right, it's gonna start the list, the ordered list at 420, and then proceed respectively. So 420, 421, 422, because 422 is 422. All right. I hope that you got a good background on unordered lists and ordered lists on HTML. I'll be working on how to say ordered after this video is done. Thank you for watching the video.